Hi, this is Sarah Mikesell with the Dairy Site, and today we're here with Dr. Matt Boyle. He is the Director of Cattle Technical Services at Zoetis. Thanks for being with us today, Matt.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here. I always look forward to World Dairy Expo week. It's a good chance to connect with a lot of our customers and other industry people and colleagues that I only get to see a couple times a year. Yeah.
Very good. And as Matt said, we're at World Dairy Expo in Madison, Wisconsin here in the United States. So today, Matt and I, we're going to talk about BRD and calves. So we'll dive right into our questions. As future replacements of the milking herd, young heifers have a big job ahead of them that starts when they hit the ground. It's no secret that calfhood BRD is detrimental. Explain to us how much BRD can impact calf health and future productivity.
Let me just start by saying one of our campaigns at Zoetis that we talk about internally is calf wellness. And calf wellness is so important because we know that the health of our calves is foundational to the long-term profitability and performance of those animals that are going to be the future milking herd. And so we know that raising that healthy calf is critically important to the long-term success and health of the dairy. Now, BRD is one of those things, or bovine respiratory disease, is one of those things that can significantly impact those calves in a negative way, not just in the short term, like yes, I've got a sick calf today and I have to send somebody out to treat that calf and I'm going to spend some money on an antibiotic or I have to call out the veterinarian,
Right.
But it's the long-term, more insidious impacts that continue to plague the profitability of that animal for the rest of her life. It's well documented that calves that experience a case of BRD or pneumonia, there's lots of research to support this. They're less likely to make it to first calving. They take longer to get pregnant. If they do get pregnant, they're more likely to have a calving difficulty. And probably most costly is once they enter the milking herd, they have decreased milk production in their first lactation, and depending on what study you look at, even the second lactation. So while you might find a research paper that would suggest that the cost of a case of BRD is $250 to $300 per case, it can be a lot more expensive than that when you factor in all the other costs associated for the rest of her life.
That's phenomenal. I mean, to think of it, I don't know that the industry's really thought of it that way, right?
Well, it's certainly been a change in the way that the industry thinks about raising calves
Right.
over the last 10 to 12 years, where calves used to be thought of as an expense.
Right.
Because they're not generating any income,
Right.
and I'm not going to see any income for 2 years, but there's really been a paradigm shift now where most of our dairy industry, and certainly our progressive producers, are thinking about that as an investment.
Right.
All those things that you're putting into that calf in the first 2 years of life, colostrum, wet calf nutrition, vaccines, all of those things that you're putting into that animal, we've got to think about it as an investment for the future
Right.
success of the whole business.
Very good. Excellent. How do you advise producers and veterinarians to safeguard calves against BRD?
Well, the easy answer, the short answer is thinking about it in terms of prevention.
Right.
Of course, prevention is a lot of things. It's a lot. You have to think about it in totality, the whole concept of prevention. And that's working with your veterinarian to develop health protocols, vaccination protocols. It's investing in your people who take care of these animals to put a good colostrum program in place. Maybe working with a another local consultant to work on ventilation and other things around housing. So, in a short, it's prevention.
Right.
But prevention is a big concept that involves lots of moving parts, and we can't just attack it from one angle. We have to be thinking about all of those things that can influence the rates of respiratory disease in our calves.
Right. And it's not just when they're young. I mean, this is, as you said before, you have to think of it as over the long term, right?
Absolutely, right? We're going to be investing in our animals for more or less 2 years until
Right.
they calve the first time. But for today's conversation, thinking about pneumonia,
Right.
most of our pneumonia in calves is going to happen in the first 6 months of life. And in some cases, on some farms, most of it in the first 90 to 100 days of life. So really in terms of BRD, that's our biggest time impact, those first several months of life. Once we get, beyond 6-8 months of age, our respiratory rates drop pretty significantly.
Excellent. Very good. How can producers learn more about calf wellness and BRD prevention?
Well, first say always remember to lean on your local veterinarian. That is the person who works with your farm that has the most broad knowledge base in terms of animal health, prevention protocols, and they're going to have a very clear understanding of what's happening on your particular operation. But you can reach out to your Zoetis representative who can put you in contact with our local technical service veterinarian or other resources that we have. And if you would like to look for resources on your own, you can navigate to calfwellness.com, where you'll find a lot of the resources and products and tools that Zoetis has to offer the dairy industry.
Very good. Well, thanks so much for all the information today.
It's my pleasure.
This is Sarah Mikesell with the Dairy Site.